Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahara Rose Zabor, the founder and CEO of the Travel Coach Network and the creator and instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. This is another TCN panel podcast episode on what inspired you to become a travel coach. And we have three of our travel coaches from the TCN here with us today. First, we have Becky Livingston. She's a certified travel and life coach and the founder of Vital Journeys at Any Age. She's the author of the best-selling memoir, The Suitcase the Jar, Travels with a Daughter's Ashes, and has been featured in the Vancouver Sun, CBC News, Journeywoman, Modern Loss, and the IBTA Magazine. She has presented on CBC Radio at Whistler's Writer Festival, Word Vancouver, the Brain Tumour Foundation of Canada, and at international gatherings. Born and raised in England, she now calls Canada home. Becky is an integral associate coach and combines careers in global public education, peer support consulting, and creative writing. We also have Arden Coutts, who is a trans non-binary author crafting queer fiction that spans romance, horror, and romantasy. Originally from Nebraska, Arden spent years traveling as an archaeologist before settling in North Carolina. Their work is driven by a mission to put dynamic, complex queer characters at the heart of action-packed stories, proving that heroes come in every form. Arden hosts virtual and in-person writing retreats for LGBTQ plus writers focused on incorporating wellness and mindfulness into writing practices. Arden can usually be found soaking up the time with friends, getting lost in a good book, or exploring the natural beauty around them when they're not writing. And last but not least, we have Indira Ramgarib Katwaroo is a seasoned travel coach and CEO of Magical Island Tours and Travel, with nearly a decade of experience guiding clients toward the life-changing travel experiences. Featured in Bold Journey and LA Voyages magazines, Indira has gained recognition for her innovative approach to travel planning and advisor mentorship. She hosts the engaging podcast, Travel Talk with Indira, where she shares invaluable industry insights, practical tips, and inspiring stories. With a passion for empowering travelers and entrepreneurs alike, Indira's mission is clear: to make travel meaningful, rewarding, and accessible, one journey at a time. Well, Indira, Arden, and Becky, thank you all so much for being on the TCN podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. Well, let's get started here. Becky, can you share, where did your passion for travel stem from?
Yes. Okay. I was thinking about this, and I would probably give huge kudos to my father, because I grew up with a dad who said, see the world, it's the best education you'll ever get. And of course, being, a young kid, that was made quite a mark on me. I would say also living in England had a huge influence, because you've got Europe right on your back door. So I think I was probably 7 when we first went to Spain, and when 5 of us drove across France and into Spain, and really pretty much every year after that I was doing something in Europe. And even before, so I emigrated when I was 24, but I'd seen a lot of Europe before I left. And I'd studied for a year in the States, and I went on a teaching exchange to Australia, to Queensland for a year. And really, I've just always been a traveller. I love it. It's great. I've done lots more since that, but that's where it stems from.
Becky, would you say that there's a trip or experience in particular that, quote unquote, transformed you or really impacted you in some way? Is there something you
Yes, absolutely. So after my daughter died, 18 months after she died, I packed up a bunch of her ashes and put them in my suitcase, and I quit my job, left my apartment, and I set off on a journey which ended up being 26 months. And I left her ashes all around the world. And so I did a lot of house sitting and staying with family and friends. And it was transformational in the truest sense of the word, because I was very much a grieving mother when I left. And by the time it was all over, I was much more at peace in myself.
Well, I would request that you don't make me cry when I'm doing this episode.
Okay.
That would be great. My heart as a mother now, my heart can't take these type of stories in any way, shape, or form
Yeah.
at all. So it's been hard. So I thank you for sharing that. I can imagine what that transformation or how that journey could have really truly impacted you. Thanks for sharing that. And then Arden, what about you? Where did your passion for travel stem from?
Hi, yeah, first off, I wanted to say, Sahara, thank you so much for having us on the podcast today. I think my passion for travel came from growing up in rural Nebraska, where there was really no option for travel. I grew up in a really remote area, and if you ran into someone who had traveled outside of Nebraska, it was amazing. And so I think I grew up just kind of always wanting to get out and explore and, reach these far off places. And that kind of instilled this desire to explore and travel from when I was young.
Would you say there is a place or an experience or a trip in particular that really made an impact on you?
Yeah, definitely. I went to Hawaii as part of my archaeology field school when I was in college, and it was my first time leaving the mainland. And like, I think it was actually my first time on a plane too. And it was absolutely magical. It was going from Iowa to Hawaii was a little bit of culture shock because it was so freeing there and everyone was just so open. And it was really a moment for me to kind of explore myself and figure out like who I was and just opened my eyes to a whole new world, as cheesy as that sounds.
Yeah, a place like that could definitely do that for you with the nature and just how beautiful it is, that serenity that you have to really reflect and think and connect and have deeper conversations and stuff too with people. So, and then what
Absolutely.
about you, Indira? Where did your passion for travel stem from?
My passion for travel started after I became a travel agent. I grew up in the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago, and with very humble beginnings. So travel was far from our mind. We were more focused on surviving. And when I was working in a construction field, and when that job was coming to an end, I started looking for something to do rather than starting a business. So I think travel found me, and only after I started planning these trips for persons and all that, I found that passion.
I love that. I love that you say that travel found you. I think many of us can relate to that. I know for myself, when I set off on my very first backpacking trip, it was just a fun experience I was looking to have and didn't think travel was really going to impact me as greatly as it had. And I feel like travel found me, and that's what took me on the journey into, what I do now and who I am and stuff. So, um, thank you for sharing that. And then, Indira, since we are chatting with you already here, can you share then what you, being a travel agent, what then inspired you to become a travel coach as well?
Well, again, I didn't start off wanting to be a travel coach. I was looking to pay bills. But I started off with, before I started my own travel agency, I started off with a multi-level marketing company. And what I found, they were not teaching us how to sell travel. They were focused on recruiting and bringing in persons. And so I had to learn on my own. And within this network of people, there were so many people who wanted to learn also. So I also have a background in teaching, and I guess the teacher in me ignited. And I started hosting Zoom calls and teaching persons how to sell travel. And that's where being a travel coach was born.
Yeah, so you actually started helping others when it came to building their own travel businesses.
Correct.
Yeah. And then Arden, what about you? What about your journey inspired you to become the type of travel coach that you are becoming and building?
Yeah, I have to say for me, it was my first international trip really kind of ignited that desire to do more travel and to help others kind of find their inspiration through travel. And that trip was to Scotland, and it was just, I don't even have words for it. It was truly a magical experience. I got to find my family's clan stone on the battlefield of Culloden, standing under a rainbow, and like it was just like a really inspiring moment. And I journaled through the entire trip, and that's really where I decided that I was going to stop kind of telling myself I couldn't do things or that I didn't have time to do things, and to really just start doing all the things I want to do. And I really want to kind of ignite that same passion in other people, especially writers and especially queer writers, to do what they have always wanted to do. If that's traveling and writing, like, how can I help you do that? So find inspiration in the world around you and bring that into your writing. I think it's so important. So it was definitely that Scotland trip that really made me want to do this.
Yeah. And then I like that you are a big advocate of, in taking all these different things in your life that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, that you are interested in doing and helping others through that. So you take travel, you take writing, like and really crafting what that looks like for yourself and your own business and who you want to help. Because I think too many times people try to fit themselves into boxes of like, this is how we're supposed to do this, or this is all that we're able to do because it's what others are doing. But in the Travel Coach Network, I'd love to empower you guys to take control over what is it that you really want to do with your passion for travel. And maybe it's another area. Maybe it's wellness, maybe it's family, maybe it's the corporate world. Where else, what else do you care about, and how can you combine that with your love of travel and make an impact through your business for your ideal clients? And you're a great example of that. And then Becky, what about for you? Where did your inspiration for becoming a travel coach and wanting to now help others and empower others through travel come from? You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I trained as a life coach actually in the early COVID days. And, it was great. I loved it. But I thought there's something that's not quite the marriage that I'm looking for. And I was saying to a friend, I'd love to work with women like me who are curious about travel, and I'd love to coach them. And I thought, I'd love to be a travel coach. And I thought, well, I don't even know if such a thing exists. Well, fast forward to last year when Journey Woman did that webinar with you, and presto, there it was. And it was absolutely, this is it. And then of course, to be able to go through all that wonderful training and all that support, it was wonderful. So yeah, I'm 66 now, and I really feel very strongly that there's a lot of women my age, and a little younger, a little older, and perhaps, as Arden says, many, many women who need to feel that empowered to boost their confidence, to see what other people do. I would love to think of myself as a role model, that people go, well, she can do it because I've done lots of long-term solo travel trips. Then maybe I can entertain that as well. And I've done a bunch of work around aging. I find that, what sort of successful aging looks like. And, research shows that travel is hugely beneficial for the aging brain, the aging body. There's just so much proof now that that's really important. So I want to be able to sort of do that. And I feel a kind of responsibility share that with other women, because when I'm no longer here, you know, then it's just sort of finished with the people I've just in my family. So
Yeah, having a story to tell and having people see themselves in your journey or see themselves in the outcomes or changes or goals that you've reached in your own life and business or your own life is, you know, really inspiring for them to want to learn more from you and, you know, figure out how did you do this? How can now you can help them figure out how they can incorporate more travel into their own life? How can they use travel as a powerful tool for themselves to heal and grieve and thrive and age healthfully as well. I know when I was studying to be a wellness travel coach and building my business and doing research is what I meant by studying. I came across so much information out there on, you know, travel's benefits on the aging process, mentally, physically, physiologically. Like it's fascinating. And something I say in the program all the time is for those who, if you, whatever it is that your niche is or your ideal client is in your business, do research. Some of my favorite times in building and starting my business was the time I really dove into this research. You'd really be surprised of how much proof is out there. It's one thing to have our own opinions and our own stories and our own beliefs around travel, especially when it comes to our ideal clients. And it's another to take that and build pillars of support for your concepts, your ideas in your business. So I love hearing that, Becky. Indira, when I was reading your bio here, and at the end, you said that you have a passion for empowering travelers, and you believe that you want to help travel experiences become more meaningful, rewarding, and accessible one journey at a time. Can you share, like, what is it about travel that can be so meaningful for somebody, and what could that look like?
Well, it could look like for me, my first trip to India was me finding myself. And because it was a spiritual and cultural journey. And I was literally crying, and I don't even know why I was crying. But I came back differently. I went as one Indira and came back differently. Recently, I did a trip to Mexico and we had this Mayan experience. And what I've learned is that it's not just me, it's everybody. People are not just looking for a vacation to go to a hotel and relax. They are looking to find their inner selves. They are looking to immerse on the cultural experience of the place they are going. They are looking to find that. And when they find that, it's more a spiritual, a cultural journey into finding themselves, and they come back reformed. All of a sudden, the stresses that you experience every day doesn't seem so stressful. The challenges you have in work is not so challenging anymore because you come back renewed with a new mindset.
Yeah.
And I believe this is what clients really want. Not just, they would say they want a vacation, but they're really looking for something more.
Right. And that's where travel coaching is so important, is to help your clients pull back those layers, right? Like work with them. And it's that asking why. This is something I've learned from an author named Joe Pine who's creating the transformation economy. And he wrote the experience economy already. But yes, the ask why 5 times approach, because when you ask someone why they want to travel, it's usually going to be a pretty surface level answer. I just need to get away. I need a vacation. Well, why do you need to get away? Well, I'm overwhelmed or busy with work. I haven't taken a trip in over 2 years. Okay, well, why haven't you taken a trip in over 2 years? Or why do you feel like you're reaching burnout? So why? And that is going to help you really understand your ideal client's needs on a human level to their core of who are they. And when you're able to figure out who exactly are they, it's easier for you to help guide them on making better travel decisions on where to go and what to do and who to go with and how to spend their time, how long maybe to go for. All of those answers in the travel planning phase become a lot easier and a lot more intentional when you really help understand who your client is beyond the generic demographics
Correct.
of them.
I have a client, he did a last minute booking because he wanted to go to Grenada. He wanted to go to Grenada, but he's leaving today to go on a cruise because Grenada is not what he wanted, really.
Yeah. And we're different every single time that we travel, right? We're a different person. There's something different happening in our lives, in our mindset. Like we're feeling different. Sometimes we travel to celebrate. Next, we're traveling to, heal. Maybe next time we need to be more by ourselves. Next time it's with our family or our child and we're connecting. So those all call for different things. And instead of, in my opinion, what I've always noticed in the travel industry when I was just a backpacker that inspired me to create what I've done, or partially, is that I felt like the marketing was always very generic and surface level and very much bucket listy, versus that bucket list is because other people say, going to the Eiffel Tower in Paris is fantastic. And you feel like, well, I need to go and do and see that too, because everyone else says that, may not be the right choice for you, at least maybe not this time in your life. And therefore, we're leaving so many missed opportunities on the table of how this trip in particular can really impact, benefit us and change us and help us reach our goals and aspirations at this time, because we're more intentional than thinking, oh, I'll just check another spot off my bucket list. Every destination is so different with all of that. So Becky, going to you, how has travel coaching itself changed your own perspective on life and personal growth?
Well, I think I'm realizing when I speak to women who are wanting to travel, I'm learning more about the blocks, I guess, that women have so often experienced in life. I think often because we're women and we often don't give ourselves permission, because we've always been looking after and taking care of other people and other things. That seems to be kind of a universal theme. So I love being a woman helping other women, because I really resonate with what they're struggling with. And I just feel personally, I feel wonderful because I'm when I'm working with somebody and they're so appreciative, and I just think, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. This is just a marvelous opportunity, and so it's feeling very right. The stars are aligning, if you like. Yeah.
Definitely. And then Arden, what about for you? How has becoming a travel coach and that journey of getting started here changed your own perspective on your own life and personal growth?
This is a great question and really made me kind of pause and think about my travel coach journey. And I think for me, it has really made me question my own writing practice and travel practices or processes. Um, it's made me think more about wellness and mindfulness and how to bring those into when I'm writing. So movement, um, journaling, yoga, just really being more, mindful is the word that I think of when it comes to what I'm doing, what I'm writing, and how to incorporate the world around me that I've experienced into what I'm creating. And I didn't think about it, or I didn't like sit with it very much until I started this process of becoming a travel coach. And I was like, oh, okay, this all makes sense now and is what I want to help other people with. So it's really helped me with my own writing quite a bit.
Wonderful. We're getting towards the end of our episode here, but I'd love to hear how, Indira, can you share how the Travel Coach Network, what has it done for you, or, what's some of your biggest takeaways from being a part of the Travel Coach Network?
For me, the Travel Coach Network has been given invaluable resources. It gave me structure and tools that I need to turn my passion for coaching into the business. Because when I started, I didn't know where I was going, so I had to find that structure. And I've learned to connect with a broader audience and developing the framework and implement strategies to use so I could grow my business that way.
We love that. We love that, the resources we provide, because we strive really hard to create a platform where you guys are not only getting the support and inspiration, but the guidance and the resources that you need. So to hear that you appreciate that really means a lot to us. And Becky, what about for you? You've been a part of the Travel Coach Certification Program for a little bit of time here. What's something that you've taken away from being a part of the program?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I have to say that I really enjoy all the webinars and all the meetups and all the sharing and the podcasts. I love that even if I can't show up live, that they're often put into the replay cabin. And I often listen to them then and watch them and make notes and things. So I found that incredibly helpful because it keeps me up with what's going on and what other people are doing. And yeah, I really enjoy that part of it. So thank you. It's great.
Yeah, we love, well, everyone in the TCN is, or the program is from all around the world. So not everyone can always join us at the certain hours that we have. So having that replay cabin where you guys can go back and watch on your own terms, and maybe it's something you need to be reminded or refreshed about, it's always going to be there for you too. And Arden, I know that you recently joined not too long ago as well yourself, but what's something that the Travel Coach Network has provided or brought to you and your own journey so far?
For me, it's really been a great sense of community, and it kind of goes towards what Becky was saying with like the meetups and the webinars and the podcast. It's a great way to stay connected with people that are all around the world, and I've met so many just absolutely amazing people through the Travel Coach Network, and some of these people I've known since 2019-ish, I think, or something in there. And yeah, it's really great to feel connected with such a wonderful network of people.
Yeah, and even though Arden has joined the program more recently, they've been around. We've been connected since I think late 2019, early 2020. I remember being in the lockdown and doing some private group coaching programs, and Arden was a part of that. And so knowing that the Travel Coach Network has been a key an integral part of everyone's journey here really just makes our heart shines, because it's what we strive to do in the TCN. And you're spot on, Arden, this community is full of absolutely incredible human beings that I feel like have been just friends with for a while here, or feel like we've just known each other for a long time, because and that's also a testament to the tourism and hospitality industry. I feel the same way through, the corporate side of the industry too. It's just the type of people who are working in the industry and the hearts that we have. Because travel, I think, is because it is so personal and so emotional. It kind of really just speaks to all of us. Well, I'm going to ask now my favorite question of every episode. Is there a fun fact about yourself you can share with our listeners that doesn't have to be business or travel related? So, Indira, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, my husband is around, so I don't know if I should say, but I love cooking. And he's looking at me queer, but not just cook. I like, when you go somewhere and you taste this new dish, you just have to try it. So I like creating new dishes.
I love that. Is there a dish that you absolutely love to make time and time again, or is there a newer dish that you've made recently that you absolutely love?
My husband in the background telling me I should try Korean pork. I love making ice cream, different flavors.
That's yummy.
Mango ice cream, you name it. I love making ice cream. I have recently tried grilled octopus, and I want to try it, but I have not yet.
I love grilled octopus. It's tricky to cook because it's octopus, but it can, when it's cooked the right way, it can be absolutely delicious. But thank you. And then Indira, how can everyone find, follow, and learn more about you?
Okay, so people can find me on my website, magicalislandtoursandtravel.com, or they could follow my podcast, Travel Talk with Indira. I'm also on all social media channels. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Indira. And then Becky, what about for you? What fun fact can you share with our listeners?
Yeah, I was thinking about this and I thought, okay, I'm going to tell you that when I was 10, in England, I went to a little town called Blackpool, which is quite tacky and it's kind of a bit Coney Islandish, I think would be equivalent. And I wrote to the Queen and she wrote back. Yes, I still got her letter from Balmoral Castle. And I'm saying that because I just finished watching The Crown last night, season 6, the very last one. And I thought that's what I'm going to share as my little bit of weirdness.
I love that. You got to, put that letter in a box and keep it safe.
It is.
What a treasure that is. And then Becky, how can everyone find, follow, and learn more about you?
Yeah, well, on my website, beckylivingston.com. And I'm also, I've got a page on Facebook. It's Becky Livingston, Travel Coach for Women 55 plus. And on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Thank you. And Arden, what about yourself? What's a fun fact that you can share with our listeners?
I was going to go with archaeologist, but I kind of forgot that was in my bio, so we already know that. But,
Which I did not know that about you.
Yes, I used to be an archaeologist back in the day. So I think I'm going to go with, I once auditioned to be in a horror movie on Halloween, and I did not get the part, but it was a great experience.
You could have also just lied and said you did and said you were like one of the monsters or something and no one would know because you have a lot of prosthetics and makeup on. It's like, yeah, of course that was me. Wonderful. And then Arden, how can everyone find, follow, and learn more about you?
Yeah, so they can follow me on Instagram is where I'm the most active, and it's at Arden Coots. And my website is wanderingcreativelife.com.
Wonderful. Well, Becky, Arden, and Indira, thank you all so much for being guests on the TCN panel podcast today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's nice to meet you both.
Same.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Travel Coach Network. Learn more at thetravelcoachnetwork.com. Come give us a hello in our TCN Global Community on Facebook. You'll find the link for that and your free beginner's guide to travel coaching in the show notes, along with all of Indira, Becky, and Arden's links that they mentioned. If you know anyone who may be interested in travel coaching, please be sure to send them our way to our podcast. We would truly appreciate that. And until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.